Hello, welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Outlook. We are live streaming in the DeFi Dojo right now, and we're going to discuss the markets, charts, and what to expect in the week ahead. We do this every single week, Sunday nights, and I help you prepare for what to expect in the upcoming week. This is the first Weekly Outlook of the month. It is February 4th, 2024, and this will be live and public to all of YouTube. The following weeks will be for premium members only, so if you'd like to be in this weekly outlook and talk to me directly, ask me to do some charts that you're looking at personally, you can click on the link in the description and become a member. We also have trading bots, and if you are a subscriber of any of my Bonsai trading bots, that automatically includes your membership to the dojo at no extra cost, so there's no need to pay for both. All right, well, let's get into it. Where is Bitcoin going? Where is the NASDAQ and the S&P going? I've been wrong on the S&P and the NASDAQ for a number of weeks in a row. I thought we would have seen a pullback by now. The dollar strength is what's telling me that could be possible, and I really would not ignore this. This is quite a number of weeks straight up now, and I think that it could continue. The daily has been bullish for a while. We have now cleared the next pivot, and we're going to come up here on some serious resistance at 104.27. You can see the resistance back here, and now we are testing that again. So whether or not we clear that, I don't know. It was the previous year's pivot on the weekly, and so this is going to be some tough resistance. What happens here, I think, will determine whether or not we get a pullback sooner than later on the S&P or the NASDAQ. So we're going to cover all these charts, and I'm going to start with the S&P. So here is the pullback we got, and I thought it would go deeper than this, and my target was going to be somewhere down in this zone here around the 21 EMA, and we just never got it. We kept going up 4 weeks in a row now, but as you can see, we are tapping that 1.618 now. And I got that just by measuring this previous downtrend. The 1.618 is a big fib. And you can see we're already, to start the week, how accurately that's starting to reject at the moment. So it's yet to be seen whether or not this is going to be a local top or not. I personally think that we could be very close to a local top. Now that by no means that I am bearish on anything stock market related. These top 7 to 10 companies have been carrying the entire weight of the S&P, or the S&P and the NASDAQ. And so, you know, it's kind of a little concerning. So you have these top companies, a very select few carrying the entire market. It is not the healthiest of environments, in my opinion, which means when those companies start seeing some profit taking, what happens, right? Does the money rotate into other companies, or is it just complete profit taking and selling? And when that time comes, that's what we're going to be watching for here. I want to see if we start seeing money rotate into other sectors and other markets, into lower market cap companies, or if everything just starts coming down. If everything starts coming down at the same time, that's going to be a little bit of a red flag for me. I would like to see, for a healthy market, money rotate into other things. And for now, we're not seeing that at all. All we're seeing is things like Meta and Google and Amazon. They're all just blasting into insane valuations, and maybe they're deserved. You know, that's left, to be, that's an opinion. I personally don't have an opinion on that. I just use charts. So I am going to say that for this week, I am going to be bearish once again on the equities. Now, I was bearish all 4 of these weeks as well and got that wrong, so take that for what it's worth. But I do think that we'll see a pullback. Now, I'm happy that we're going up because, we bought all the way down here in October of 22, and my long-term bags look very good right now. So I'm not complaining. However, I would like to see a pullback in order to feel a little less risky trying to long this again or to long anything. So I'm just going to continue being patient and waiting. Meanwhile, if it continues to go up, that's okay too, because I have a lot of long-term stocks from the bottom. Looking at the NASDAQ, we've cleared that 1.618. So this says we can continue higher. This says we might reject, right? So it's kind of a little bit of a mixed signal here short term, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Now, crypto is a different story. You can see that we spent most of the time last week underneath the 8 EMA on the weekly. And going into the end of the week here, the last couple days, we have closed back above the 8 EMA on USDT dominance. If you are not familiar with stablecoin dominance, we track this because as this goes up, crypto and Bitcoin come down, and as this goes down, crypto and Bitcoin go up. And so we can chart this just like we can chart anything else, and it gives us a better idea of what the market can do as a whole and overall. So now we have closed 2 consecutive candles above the 8 EMA on the weekly after, we saw that big run, we couldn't get back over. And now we are. So now it's time to be careful and expect some pullbacks here in the next couple weeks. I think we can continue seeing downside on Bitcoin and the crypto market as a whole. If we look at total market cap, you can see we've just stayed flat here for going on 10 weeks now. What this is telling us is that there's no new money coming into the market. Things are just getting rotated around between different altcoins, back to Bitcoin, back to other altcoins. Ethereum had a run for a little bit. It cooled back off now. And so that's just all we're seeing. For 2 months, all we've been seeing is money shifting around, but it's all the same money. There's nothing new. And what that means is that it's possible that this is a distribution now. If we look at the daily, you can kind of see that. If you're familiar with the Wyckoff distribution, it usually looks something like this. You get like one pre-hump here, and then you get 4 following that, right? So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're on our 5th. Another thing to notice is that whenever you see a big run in the crypto market, there's always one last hoorah is what I call it, one last hoorah, and it usually rejects the 0.5 if you just measure the local trend, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing a 0.5 rejection right here. So until we close a candle over 1.62 trillion, I'm fully convinced that this is coming down. And I could be wrong. If it closes over that, then I'll happily admit it. But for now, I've been saying that we're going to come down, and we've been selling since we saw this starting getting into the golden pocket and tapping that 786 almost. It didn't quite touch it, but it got very close. And we are now wanting to buy again when we get down into this zone. I have my buy order set, and you can see that in the charts channel, and I've linked a link to that as well for Bitcoin and for Ethereum, and where all of my limit buy orders are. So if you're in the DeFi Dojo and you have premium access, you can see where I have placed all of those limit orders. If we look at total 3, which is total 3 minus USDT, because we don't want to include stables, and we divide that by Bitcoin, and what that does is this gives us the altcoin market against Bitcoin, because we want to know when Altseason's coming, right? When Altseason's really here, we're going to know. Right now, we rejected the 382, and we're back below the weekly EMAs. So this is not really great. What this means is that if Bitcoin does tank, altcoins can go with it. Now, there have been a select few altcoins that have been doing really well, and they don't seem to even care what Bitcoin or Ethereum are doing. Those are the ones to keep. Don't panic sell those. Those are likely, more often than not, going to be the big winners when the bull cycle finally starts moving again and we go into the main run. Let's see. I think that kind of covers everything. We can look at Ethereum. So there's kind of a little bit of a mixed signal here on the CME chart. We have 3 closes now, 3 candles now below the 8 EMA on the weekly after tapping that 618. If we look at the spot chart, we actually closed that candle above, right? And then if we look at ETHBTC, it's kind of giving us a bearish look again. We had a nice big green candle followed by a doji top and then a big bearish one again, and now we have a doji bottom, right? So I don't know, this could just blast straight back up through again, and maybe Ethereum starts bouncing off these lows. My main stop for this is right here now. So if we fail that 0.05 level for Bitcoin or Ethereum Bitcoin, that's when I would start to worry about Ethereum. But as long as we stay over all of this, I'm fine just continuing to accumulate Ethereum. When both come down, this can kind of just stay sideways, right? Or just kind of trickle up this trend line. If you remember, that's a 6 or 7 year long trend line, and that's where we started converting our Bitcoin into Ethereum several months ago now. And I'm still confident in doing that. I still think that Ethereum over the long term can outpace Bitcoin now moving forward. But again, as long as we stay over this 0.05 mark. Looking at the Bitcoin spot chart, these are basically just going to be our levels that we have, and you can see we're still just kind of wiggling around in the golden pocket, which is where people usually sell the first time it gets there. And so what we expect to see is eventually a move back down, right? Maybe a little bit of a bounce and then back down, and then this place here in between like 30 and 33K is where I want to buy the most Bitcoin. Because then we're going to get some support forming, and then we'll head back up into the golden pocket for the second time, where we will find support and we will get through the greed and FOMO zone, and then we will head up into our main bull market run, where I expect to see at least 100K, and the top would be somewhere in between these two fibs here. So somewhere in between 125 and 173 is where I expect the top of Bitcoin to go. We could breach 200K because that's the previous cycle's 2.272. So these levels here are all where I have Bitcoin going. And I'm going to get rid of this just so you can see it better. But this whole zone is where I expect to see Bitcoin going to top out to end the cycle. Why? Most of the people that are in the dojo right now know why, so I won't really go into full details on why I think that, but that's just basically where every cycle goes. And until this pattern that happens every cycle changes, I am going to expect the same pattern to repeat. All right, so I think that covers the bulk of the majors. I don't think I missed anything. Bitcoin dominance is another thing to look at. So on the weekly, you can see it's kind of starting to look a little distributed also, where you get these like, humps. So you get 5 of them. It's also broken its trend. So this is why Ethereum has now started to move up against Bitcoin, because we're breaking the dominance trend on Bitcoin. And you can see it's rejecting that 0.5. And so until it clears that 0.5 again, I'm still just going to assume that Ethereum can outpace it, and so can altcoins. All right, so I am going to end this recording because this is the one that will be on YouTube. And then I will make a new recording for all of the chart requests, and that way I can post both of them in the channel. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more of this every week, please join the Discord. The link will be in the description, and please like and subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. Have a good week.